Lucky 13 dissolving. So while T-Tigers and Status and Chicken were playing on another team, XL and Marto do have a lot of experience playing together. And the thing with this final match today is on the side of Team TAS Frame Perfect, two of their main starters are also not here. So 12 Tacos 12 and I believe the
Guard.
Yes, guard. So while they're not here too, so for me really it's actually a 50-50 going into this match.
50-50 and Hafu, how do you split that? Who is your prediction for this match?
After talking to both teams, my prediction is with Liberation X. They seemed a lot more confident, and they have, what, 6 people here?
Yeah.
6 people on their roster, so they have a lot of flexibility. If things do go wrong in the first game, they can swap out some people. And yeah, I think they will take it here.
They can. We'll have to watch. We'll have to see if Chicken comes in later. I think we're ready to get started with the picks and bans. And while we're waiting for that, Rome, can you talk a little bit about Status Baked? He's just been like a transcendent talent out of the jungle, especially on the Rona and the qualifiers, but he can play a lot of heroes. What does he bring to the table? What does he do so well that we can watch for in this first match?
Well, it's not just Status Baked, although he's like an incredible player individually. Liberation X stands for aggression, and more aggression. So in their mindset, it's take over the jungle, control the jungle, and starve the hell out of the other team.
And we'll have to see with this lineup if they're able to pull that off. Liberation X, they start with Arden Band and Frame Perfect. Counter with the Rona Band. They clearly watched. They clearly watched the qualifiers. There's no way they're letting Status Baked anywhere near a Rona.
So my first pick would be a Fortress on Liberation X side.
You say that every time.
I love Fortress though.
Yes, you do.
And the Kashka, this is of course though, it speaks to what you were talking about before. Very early game hero, all about aggression. You have to win before she falls off. Certainly plays into that play style. And it's a Ringo coming off for TAS Frame Perfect and a Catherine. What does that signify for you, Rome?
Now they'll take
Right now I'm taking Fortress for sure. Fortress and Glaive.
Ooh, and oh,
Pew, pew, pew.
ding, ding, ding.
There it is. But this is almost reminiscent of what we saw Hunters do in the VIPL just recently. It looked like, well, that was against SK.
Yes.
It looked like they let this go through. This is a thoughtful team as well, a team that historically has played more passive as well. It kind of looks like they were letting Liberation X do this and have something planned for it. Is this a comp on Frame Perfect's side as they fill it out that can work to counter this as if they, intentionally let it through?
Well, what Hunters did in the VIPL match was they secured a pedal pick, which is actually pretty good considering how Koshka's a very divey hero. With what Frame Perfect's going to do today is I'm not too sure that they're going to play with the pedal, probably a Scarf, and then hope to scale very well into late game, but Sky's even better.
Wow, so first time we're seeing Sky today. They did mention this in the interview, Hafu, something they were holding back in case they saw the right spot. Any thoughts on, first time we're going to see Sky today?
I actually have a question for Rome. How do you think this matchup goes in the jungle? Because Sky is a really aggressive early jungler too, correct?
But then we're also looking at individual players. And because Status Baked is playing in the jungle and his mechanics on Koshka is very good, what he's going to do is, regardless, he's still going to dive on this guy. He's going to move to the side when she's using her forward barrage. And then he's going to jump back in and try to pretty much delete her from the game.
So it will be hard for Sky since she is a skill shot champion. It's harder against Koshka and Glaive, right? Mobile champions and Fortress too.
And we'll have to see with that Sky, of course. She wants to use her combo, and she wants to use her Suri Strike to dance around these fights along with her Heroic perk. She can float around. She can use Suri Strike to reposition to try to get away from this Koshka that is incoming. A lot of this match will come down to how successfully can TAS Frame Perfect position that Sky when all the aggression in the world is coming at them. Let's find out with our casters, Action Jackson and Vedius.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Caster Desk. We're going to be jumping into our final series in just a moment between Liberation X and TAS Frame Perfect. Very interesting draft coming in. We haven't seen the Sky yet until this point, and on top of that, the draft went in kind of a weird way. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Vidius?
Yeah, so for a long time, especially in competitive play, we've seen Fortress Koska. I'm sure you probably heard Rome talking about, they should probably first pick a Fortress here, or maybe they should first pick a Fortress here, and it's just so strong at being early aggression, and that is Liberation X's playstyle. And coming into this game, TAS Frame Perfect talked about how their draft isn't always the best, and that forces them to be quite passive. So coming into this game, maybe with the Sky, they have got the draft that they want, and they can change things up for the better.
All right, well, we are getting onto the fold, guys, for the final series of the day between Liberation X and TAS Frame Perfect. It's going to be a good one right now. Both teams just get into their starting positions.
And so right now, both teams going to be doing what they do best, which is the early jungle. And I want to keep a close eye on how this Sky does, because I'm a little bit surprised. Oh, no, they are running a Ringo, so originally it might have been quite good up against the Glaive. Traditionally, Sky does quite well against that. But Sky is a hero. We've heard about how it has so much mobility. It can dart around all of these heroes. It really has plenty of mobility available to it. So we'll have to see how well it does against that, as they are collapsing.
Whoa. Alex taking a lot of damage early on here. This is the early aggression out of the Fortress Koshka that we were just talking about. But TAS Frame Perfect are able to kite back and get out of that one for now. Alex does need to be careful not to bite off more than he can chew here. ILTL needs to get out as well. And he is going to be able to find his way back to the turret. Liberation X putting so much early aggression down. I really don't think LTL should be sticking this close. Oh, whoa, they're turning it around, actually. Look at that damage going on to Marto.
Whoa, Marto.
Don't tank the jungle mob, dude. It's a bad plan right now, though. Exhale might try and turn things around. Does pick up another jungle camp. This is buying some time for maybe TAS to find a kill here. They do get one. That is going to be the first kill of the game. Right now, it could actually be an ace coming in from LTL if he picks it up quickly enough. All right, not quite. He does find it, though. Very crazy early game fight coming in just there.
Well, I don't think that Liberation X are going to be too upset about that, because they did steal away quite a lot of the jungle. So they got a lot of valuable experience, a lot of valuable gold that they will deny away from TAS Frame Perfect. So still very nice advantage gained for Liberation X. You can see they are currently sitting on a very slight gold advantage. And this is what we expected to see coming out from Liberation X. You heard the analyst desk talking about how, as a team, they are all about aggression, jumping into the enemy jungle, having full control over it for the majority of the game, and I expect to see them repeatedly going back over and over and over again to maintain that level of aggression.
Yeah, and right now, LibX are all grouping up towards this top lane. Maybe they're going to go for something more here. Status Baked immediately falls, though. Look at how quickly the trade went down. This is a crazy early game fight coming through between these two teams. No one pulling significantly far ahead. Oh, Exhale! Trying to change that one, jumping right in to pick up the kill onto Alex. LTL by himself at the moment, trying to get a 1 versus 2 off here. Needs to be wary with Corpus coming down, though they might turn this one around. Look at the burst. Marto gonna fall as well. And that is going to be another kill picked up for TAS.
A strange power thing coming out from Marto right there. Not entirely sure why he decided to go the dangerous way through the jungle. Ended up giving away his life to Corpus. And considering how strong that Ringo is during the early game, you can't afford to be giving him those kills. So not the best decision making coming out from Marto right there. But I wanted to talk about how we were a little bit concerned with Liberation X coming in with this roster. Without Tigers, we were curious as to how well they would do, how well they would synergize as a team. And yes, they've been playing together for a while, but could they perform on stage? Could they still execute that aggression that they're so renowned for? And so far, they've done a great job.
Oh, Corpus is going to be knocked back here. Look at the damage immediately coming through. They give that kill over to Exhale, funneling the money onto him right now, trying to make sure he becomes strong as quickly as possible. Very nice pickup for LibX, tying up the kills and actually cementing their gold lead even more. Right now, about 2,000 gold ahead of TAS Frame Perfect at the 4-minute mark. Putting some good pressure onto this top lane, too.
So I'm not entirely sure if Alex has enough crystal bits Judging by the looks of it, he has managed to pick himself up 4 as LTL may have found Status Baked. Right now, they're doing a good job of clearing out the vision available, but LTL could be in some trouble.
Yeah, Libx looking to turn this one around, maybe find a kill. Yummy Cat and Frenzy goes down. Alex immediately gets popped, not even a second to try and escape from that one. LTL now going to be the next focus, making his way back towards the turret with the shield up. He does soak a lot of the damage and is able to escape there. We need to see reflex blocks on TAS Frame Perfect ASAP.
The thing is right there is not only did XL have the level advantage, but it comes off the back of their unrelenting pressure into the enemy jungle. It is so hard for Alex and LTL to actually farm and get the experience that they need to really trade back and forth in these engagements. Notice the CS difference between Alex and XL. 24 on top of Alex to 34 on XL. That resulted in the level difference, which really swung that exchange in their favor. Same for Status Baked and Corpus. Because of the amount of pressure coming out from Liberation X, they are just simply falling behind in terms of farm and experience, and this is what Liberation X is known for. It's really nice to see that even with these changes, even without their original lineup, they still maintain that level of aggression.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, you know, Status Baked, for example, doing so well in the lane. We were a little bit worried about him. He is mostly that jungle carry player right now. Frame Perfect trying to make something happen. They are going to force Status Baked, in fact, to back out of there, but it's not going to be enough anyway. Corpus still falls down, and even with the death from above, there's no turnaround. Look at that! Yummy Catnip Frenzy coming out from Exhale as well. They get a second kill onto Alex. Libx playing these fights perfectly, going in and out, getting the stuns onto the right people and picking themselves up lots of advantages.
This is something you have to respect when you're playing against this composition coming out from Liberation X. If they lock onto a target, they have the potential to immediately burst you down. That is exactly what happened to Alex right there. The moment the Yummy Catnip Frenzy came down, he got locked up and the rest of Liberation X collapsed upon him and got deleted. If they can keep doing that in these ongoing fights, it's going to be a very easy time for Liberation X. The thing they need to be concerned about is Alex completing that Frostburn, because it's so easy for a Skye to kite around in these team fights, assuming that she can reflex block all of the dangerous hard crowd control that so far she is having difficulty dealing with.
Corpus getting knocked back again. Status Baked putting a lot of damage down early on here. I don't think they're going to be able to close the gap this time around, though, unless Exhale from the back is able to set something up. That's what LTL waiting in the wings, trying to maybe turn the fight around. If something significant breaks out, that is going to be a big brew going on in the way of Status Baked. Corpus actually turning on to Marto. Where is the coordination from Libx right now? There it is, Corpus! Look at how quickly he dropped. Status Baked using Marto's bait perfectly there. Right now, Alex as well, trying solo to get the kill onto XL. He finds it, but he also goes down, trading his life away. Right now, Libx is taking small advantages from every single fight they engage in.
Marto did a fantastic job of baiting that engagement. They didn't recognize that Status Baked was sitting in the brush, waiting for Corpus to overextend. And the moment that he did, they capitalized on that mispositioning, and Status Baked was able to pick himself up another kill. If that engage hadn't happened in the lane, then it would have been very easy for Alex to get that 1 versus 1 against XL. It was surprising how much damage Alex actually managed to do onto XL, and coming out ahead in that 1v1 would have been massive for Alex, but because Marto was able to come down, they ended up trading 2 for 1, and advantage is still going in the favor of Liberation X.
Status Baked is able to jump on out of this sticky situation in the lane with that afterburner, buying some time for Marto to get close. Libx, although they're taking a lot of fights right now, I think it's important to notice that they're not doing a great deal of objective-style things. You know, they're not getting any pressure down onto the turret. They're not really focusing on that the gold mine right now. So it is certainly possible for Frame Perfect to come back in this one, even with the gold disadvantage. Right now, though, look at the death from above. It actually stuns up XL, keeps him out of the fight. Status Baked is alone on the back line, trying to pick up course. What is that damage? Massive kills going the way of Libx. Only LTL, the last man standing, trying to get out of this one. But is it going to be doable? He is very tanky. All right, he is going to be able to get under his turret. Well played by him. No ace coming the way of Libx.
Didn't we hear that Status Baked was a jungle only?
That
Because
was originally what we
playing
heard.
Glaive in the lane, he is definitely showing his mechanics on that
He knows
hero.
the hero so well.
And naturally, you can play Glaive in the jungle, so moving it into the lane probably isn't that much of a difficult transition to him, but he is executing this hero fantastically, using those afterburns in exactly the right place at the right time. It looked really good for TAS Frame Perfect at the start, because that Death from Above completely zoned out Exhale, and we're thinking, oh, numbers advantage going in the favor of TAS Frame Perfect. This is their opportunity. But immediately, Status Bait gets onto Corpus, deletes him. He goes down so fast, that provides enough time for Exhale to then rejoin the fight, and now it's them with the numbers advantage. Crazy performance coming out from Liberation X. So not only are they insanely aggressive, they're actually being very smart about how they engage.
Yeah, and speaking of engagements, they're going for one right now. Alex, where are you walking right now? All away from his team. Corpus on the back line can't even do damage whilst he's kiting. This is a huge lost fight for Frame Perfect. That's going to be the second kill. The third soon to follow. Ace coming through by Libex at 10 minutes. What are they going to get off the back of this, though?
Well, they could move towards that. Oh, actually, they already have control of the gold miner, so the best objective for them would be to look to take away this tier 1 turret. They have the ace buff, which means that they will have more powerful minions. It'll be very easy to take down this tier 1 turret, and they're going to increase the gold advantage that they already have so far. Very dominant performance. They're going on to Alex.
Oh my goodness, look at how quickly he gets popped. Even LTL with the defenses that he innately has by playing Catherine, struggling to deal with this damage. Corpus, the final member standing yet again here, but it is just a collapse by Liberation upon all of the members of Frame Perfect. I think this game might be running away with them, Vedius. It might be too far past the point for Frame Perfect to come back. Right now, the gold is 16.7k to only 7.4.
And fortunately for TAS Frame Perfect, they are not getting the engagement that they want, and here is another one going
Alex,
heavily against
he
them.
reflex blocked that Kashka ultimate. It just didn't even matter. You can see Libex just focusing down the turret. They've got their priorities straight, that is for sure. Every single afterburner from Status Bake this game has basically set up a kill, except for that one, because he managed to get back to the healing base. Going to throw out the ultimate. Not enough damage on him to pick up Marto right now, but Libex, they can quite easily just back up here, heal some, and come back for more later on.
Liberation X are playing out of their minds right now. It's just Status Bake. This guy, now you know why he's ranked as one of the top tier players in North America. Insanely talented individual, knows exactly how to play this glaive, and I'm really impressed with what he's doing so far in this game. He is really impressing me with his performance. His afterburns have been on point throughout this game. The way they've been executing these fights is fantastic, but the more important thing is the fact that TAS Frame Perfect just cannot get the fights that they want. They really want to be fighting in these long corridors where Skye can really take the most out of her damage, which they just haven't been able to get. Libex has been doing such a good job of playing around this and getting their fights, playing their style, and forcing TAS Frame Perfect to play to them.
Not to mention there's kind of a point of no return past which the enemies are just too strong to deal with. And what ideally you want when you're running a double threat comp is for one of them to be the focus of your enemies and the other one to have the freedom to do damage. Right now, Status Bake just goes away and deals with Corpus, and the rest of the team can handle the remaining members. They really don't have that ability to play the composition the way that they would like to, not only in terms of positioning, but just in terms of raw strength, but the difference between the two teams.
That's precisely it. Right now, we are in a bit of a pause because we are experiencing some technical difficulties. These do happen from time to time. Fortunately, this has been our only one of the day. Yeah. So that is always a pleasure to hear.
And it's a good opportunity to talk a little bit about our sponsors, because without them, this event would have been very difficult to get to the same quality. We've got Amazon App Store, NVIDIA, Plantronics, and Red Bull, who are all involved with this. Very happy to have them. You guys should check out all of their respective products. You know, they're really cool.
Remember that next weekend will actually be Europe over in Poland. So if you guys don't have tickets yet, that you can go over and pick yourselves up some tickets online to go to that live event, which was a fantastic experience. I would highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Well, whilst we're during this pause and unable to get the game underway, let's throw back to our analysts, Playoff Beard, Hafu, and Rome for some more information.
All right, it's looking good for Liberation X so far. If they take this match, they will literally be 2 wins away from punching T-Tigers tickets to Santa Ana so he can come join this team potentially for the semifinals. We've been watching this go on. We didn't get a chance to say it before the start of this game, but this TAS Frame Perfect team, they really revolve around Corpus. The more that Vedius and Action Jackson are talking about Corpus, the better it bodes for them. But that hasn't been the story so far. Rome, what has been?
Liberation X came into this game with a plan. They're pretty much, during their draft picks, their team composition was based on aggression. And that's what they did right from level 1. They invaded, took their backs, died, respawned, came back, and made another attempt. So having that jungle dominance, that vision all across the map, gives them so much more room to move, and it gives Status Bake a lot less pressure in lane dealing with Ringo.
All right, now Hafu, clearly Liberation X had a little bit of subterfuge there. It seemed clearly that Status Baked would be in jungle. Instead, he comes out to lane, and they don't play chicken in jungle, which is mystifying unless this was all like just something to disguise their game plan. You've been in these competitive live situations before. How do you think about like, oh, we have this big master plan versus like just going out, putting your best players on the field and doing what you need to do?
I personally have never played in a roster with more than the minimum, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I've always had a 3-man roster for 3v3 games. But I've seen people with like 4 or even 6-man rosters, you know, play their B team first and just kind of like test the waters. And once they need to bring their A players in, they do that. So that could be part of their plan. It's a bit on the riskier side because sometimes you don't want to see like, you don't want to give away too much because every team is watching every team here, right? So they're taking notes and they're analyzing, and you're kind of taking that away by subbing in different players.
Yeah, and at Liberation X, they're really like a family. They think of all the players equally, just looking for the chemistry for that particular matchup. But Rome, I want to ask you specifically, what sense does it make to put Status Baked in lane, and how did it change the complexion of that first match so far?
Well, looking at their team composition, it's like they went for a 3 melee early aggression comp, and with Status Bake being an excellent glaive, probably one of the best in NA, he chose to he opted out for playing in the lane because he knew he would succeed. He can make the plays and he can rotate down. If they were to go with a different comp and the laner wasn't a melee and more of a range, then we'll see Exhale come up and do his role there.
So what does Exhale and Marto bring in this scenario with Status Baked in lane that's maybe with this hero comp or in this situation a little more advantageous than going with Chicken in jungle and his playstyle?
Well, looking at this game that they're playing right now, I found that they're actually playing very coordinated.
Yeah.
They're not risking too much. They're making those right plays that where the rewards are worth the risk. What I'm hoping to see from them more for possibly the second game, if they don't make a roster change, is probably like more hero diversity. So I want to see if they are able to handle a late game comp.
All right, Team TAS Frame Perfect, one of only 2 teams that came from outside the top 8 teams in the qualifiers and managed to work their way into the top 8 for the North American Live Finals. The team they sent here has LTL, Alex, and Corpus on it. What can you tell us about this threesome and really kind of what they got to do here from now on?
They actually made a pretty good approach coming into this last match, choosing Ringo and Sky. That's also a very early game comp, so they wanted to battle Liberation X at their own game. What happened was just positioning in fights and then failing to like collapse on the team when they were invading too far. So what they should do is punish Liberation X when they overextend, rotate down, even though if he loses a couple CS in lane, just make those plays, help out his team, so then having jungle vision, jungle control really helps them out later on.
And having seen what Von Menace was able to do to Liberation X in the VGL qualifier, what kind of like a magic formula does that tell you? It really seemed like all that Liberation X aggression, and they seem to be falling into Von Menace traps. What did Von Menace do well, and what could maybe Frame Perfect replicate in match 2, say?
Well, with the Von Menace and Liberation match, in my personal opinion, was they lost it through draft picks. And so this was way before even the match even started. And when the match started, it's like they started tilting after the first couple engages, and they weren't able to like recuperate from that. What Team TAS Frame Perfect has to do coming into the next match, since this match is kind of decided already. Next match, I would like to see them just make more decisive plays. Think as a group, like what they're going to need is synergy, like what Vaughn has, just perfect synergy.
Well, it was a little unfortunate because it would have been nice for the Ringo to rotate down, but I believe that while the skirmish in their jungle was happening for the backs, the laners actually killed each other.
Yeah, they traded.
I didn't see it that exactly, but that closely, but I did see that they were both dead when that engage happened, because I was like, where's Ringo, where's Glaive? And they were both dead.
The action has been so fast and furious all day. I'm glad, actually, that we have a minute. I wanted to just talk with you, Hafu. Like, it's been a really fun story where you discovered Vainglory because it was in a television commercial for a tablet that you were associated with, and then you just kind of kept playing from there. It's been really exciting to see. You actually cracked the top 100 players in North America, putting in the time and streaming it as well on your own channel. Tell us a little bit about your story with Vainglory.
So if you guys have ever played a MOBA on a PC, I don't know about you, but I kind of thought a tablet MOBA would be a joke.
Yeah.
When I first heard of Vainglory, a tablet MOBA, I was like, wow, that's terrible. Can't be good. And then I ended up having to play it for the commercial. And during the downtime, I just found myself wanting to play more. There was like a wireless hub, and I followed it around. So I could, we walked upstairs and downstairs, and I just trailed behind him and kept playing Vainglory. I just could not stop. And as soon as the day was over, Walter was like, you really like this game. I'll put you in touch with them. Because, you're a good fit. You are good at the game. I was crushing. It was really fun because I have MOBA experience, and playing at level 2, you're playing against really new players. And a lot of people who play on mobile devices don't have PC experience.
Right.
So if you've ever played League of Legends or Dota or Heroes of the Storm, I would definitely give Vainglory a try because it is so fun. It's deceivingly addicting. I could not stop playing it.
And one thing that I really didn't know, you stream a lot of Hearthstone, and when you started to stream Vainglory, I didn't really know, are those viewers going to stick around? Are they going to have any interest in this? It's been fun to watch. The retention of those viewers has been quite good. How do you think your community, which is a very vibrant community, has responded to you playing Vainglory?
I mean, I think just with the PC crowd, it's really hard to convince them to try a tablet MOBA, right? Again, you hear that term and you're just like, no. But then when you actually try it for the first time, you're just surprised at how smooth it is. You can stutter step, you have full control of your character, you can juke just like you would on the PC, and maybe even better. And yeah, I think a lot of people, after hearing that, my honest opinion was, wow, that looks terrible, into wow, this is an amazing game. Spoke to a lot of the people who watch my stream. It's
really fun. If you are wondering what's going on, they're just resolving a technical issue, then we'll be right back into the action and just what you were talking about. So concurrent to this, the VIPL, the Vainglory International Premier League, is going on in Korea, and that's on OGN. Television and Twitch channels. And there's a lot of people who are followers of those OGN channels, and Vainglory will come on, casted by Monte Cristo and Valdez, and they'll just be seeing a MOBA, like a MOBA with good graphics.
Yeah.
And it's not until they cut to the shot of the players with the tablets, and then you see this big explosion in the chat, like, wait, this is a tablet game? Are you serious? This is a touchscreen game? It's quite fun to see. They just assume it must be a PC game at this level.
I think we assume tablet games are for casuals, right? Because, I mean, they've kind of evolved over the last few years. I mean, I feel like my tablet now, or my phone even, is better than a laptop that I had 5 years ago. So, I think we're ready. No, it's fine. I think we are ready to cut back to the action.
It's good. So let's get back. It is the number 4 seed, Liberation X, against the number 5 seed, TAS Frame Perfect. Late stages of this game in Liberation X's favor. Action Jackson and Vedius to call the remainder of this match.
Hey, welcome back to the caster desk, guys. So sorry about that inconvenient technical issue. It has been solved. We're going to be getting back onto the housing fold very, very soon. This is a very interesting game so far. You know, we have seen quite a lot of action already, but big leads being built up for Liberation X.
Yeah, we heard a lot from the analyst desk talking about the breakdown of this game and how things have been going very one-sided in the favor of Gangstars. And you know, they came in with a plan and they've executed it perfectly. The thing is about Liberation X is they've been very impressive, and if they can maintain this performance coming into the rest of the series, then it's very easy for them to come out ahead.
Absolutely, and there's only potentially going to be the 2 games if Liberation X keeps playing like this. Frame Perfect definitely need to step up their game. We were talking about this before. We've seen 2-0s in every single series so far today, but this final game has the closest seeds. It's seed 4 versus seed 6. 5, sorry. So if any game is actually going to go to those 3 matches, it would be this one.
It certainly would be, as we do see an engagement kicking off.
Yeah, they're actually going to try and go in onto LTL here, but he took no damage off the back of that. Meanwhile, on the side, Alex, on the other hand, Corpus as well, going to drop instantaneously. I have a feeling we may have just unpaused to see the Vein Crystal explode.
This is the thing about Liberation X's composition. We talked about it before, and how they have the potential to just lock out a single target and instantly delete them. And you saw it right there onto Corpus. He got aftershocked in. He then got followed up with the ultimate from Koska. There was absolutely nothing that he could do about it. Even with the reflex block available to him, he just got instantly deleted. There is so much damage on this side of Liberation X, and they just want to keep getting that damage out.
Yeah, right now trying to go on to LTL, the only real tank member on the side of Frame Perfect. They are getting some nice return onto Exhale, but is it going to be enough? Corpus likely to fall here. First kill picked up in the fight for Liberation X. See Alex trying to stay between his 2 turrets right now, stay in a safe zone where he is able to do damage. But Liberation X, I feel like they're just buying time for Kraken to spawn at this point.
They are just too far behind at this point. Notice the goal difference is 10,500 between the 2 teams. They don't have the items that they need to really come out ahead in these engagements. They have very little to no damage. They've heavily focused things like the reflex bot. You can see the Crucible completed for LTL, doing what he can to keep his team from getting stun locked, but it's just not enough. Alex, 2-10-2. Corpus, 3-10-0. There is nothing that they have been able to do in these team fights. They have been locked up, they have been focused, and they have been deleted. They've just ignored LTL, and no matter what he's tried to do, it just has not been enough coming into these engagements. So this game looks heavily in the favor of Liberation X. I think that if TAS Frame Perfect somehow managed to turn this around, it'll be one of the biggest comebacks in Vainglory history, because with this kind of a deficit, it's going to struggle quite a lot.
Well, this is maybe their last opportunity to get that turnaround. We are seeing Corpus being dealt with on the backside by Status Baked. Meanwhile, Exhale takes down Alex. Look at how quickly Corpus's health gets absolutely demolished. Beautiful plays coming in from Liberation X. Full health off the back of a massive 3 versus 3 fight like that. Maybe going to be looking towards closing this one out. Maybe they want to go for the Kraken as it has just spawned. Let's see what they decide to pull off here, Vidius.
Well, the death timers are still relatively low because we've actually only just hit 15 minutes into the game, but they feel as though they have the ability to take down the 2 Vayne turrets, and they could be looking to close out the game right now.
Yeah, they're just actually ignoring the members of Frame Perfect at the moment, trying to focus down that Vein Crystal. They do turn around, pick up Alex. Exhale does fall, though. Is it going to be enough, though? Now you can see this focus has swapped. Liberation X immediately go into Corpus, find that kill, and there's no way LTL, in sort of the wet fish that he slaps at them, is going to be able to do anything here. First game of the series, Liberation X taking it home.
So Liberation X, we were a little bit concerned as to how they would perform coming into this best of 3 series, but from what we've seen so far, they have been playing out of their minds. Very impressive performance coming into game 1, very solid plan, and they executed it perfectly. Let's have a quick look. You can see on your screens right now the players from Liberation X. They are the victors of game 1 of this best of 3 series. They're going to be looking on to move through the tournament to play up against Nemesis Hydra. assuming that they can close out the second game. But moving back to the itemization builds, you can see pretty standard stuff coming out from both sides, really. Very little gold available to the side of TAS Frame Perfect. They didn't really have the itemization that they needed, especially look at the lack of damage that they had. There was just no way for them to really get involved in that fight, and it was just very one-sided in the favor of Liberation X.
All right, well, guys, we're going to be cutting back to the analyst desk for some more in-depth analysis. Let's pass it off to Playoff Beard.
All right, Liberation X, we had a lot of questions about their roster heading into that match. They had a lot of answers for us there, taking that first